Hey, put the one up with my name. Put the one up with my name. Put the one up with my name.
Use caution in that area. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, 6th day of April. Got a great show for you on this Monday. Dr. Jeet Singh will join us at the bottom of the hour. Talk health with Dr. J. It's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy will be here at 4 o'clock. And Artemis 2 has made history today. They've gone farther and faster than any human being in the history of this planet. We'll get you updated. Their mission will continue throughout our broadcast. In fact, it'll conclude. They'll be heading back to Earth right when we end the broadcast. We'll get you updated on that. Big sports weekend. We'll get through that. The Dodgers came back from a 6-1 deficit to beat the Washington Nationals in a 3-game set. They swept them. They're on to Toronto tonight for the rematch of the World Series. The UCLA Bruins have finally won an NCAA championship on the women's side. Do you guys want to know how far women's sports has come? 1978, I was in 10th grade. I was in 10th grade in 1978. And a woman by the name of Ann Myers, who if you're a Dodger fan, you should know who Ann Myers is. If you're a sports fan and you're over 55, you should know who Ann Myers is. Ann Myers is the sister of David Myers, who's also a UCLA graduate who played in the NBA. He played for the Lakers. In fact, he was involved with we sent him to Milwaukee as part of that deal to get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, his sister was an incredible basketball player, but she's probably best known, it's been so long, for marrying Don Drysdale. She is the widow of the late Don Drysdale. But back in the day, she was as bad as her brother, if not better, and she won essentially the national championship in 1978. Do you want to know how far women's sports has come? When I was in 10th grade in 1978, it wasn't an NCAA championship. It was like an AIWA or some kind of nonsense. The NCAA didn't recognize women's basketball for a national championship. That's how far we've come. That's why technically this is UCLA's first championship, even though Ann Myers' 78 team was the best team in women's basketball. It just wasn't recognized by the NCAA. Isn't that incredible? In our lifetime. And that's just 6 years after Title IX was signed into law by Richard Nixon. It's incredible to think about. But a huge win. I won a little money, as a matter of fact. So stop with the mush nonsense. And I know what you're thinking. Put it on UConn tonight, Ralph. No, I'm going to take my money and run. I love the Huskies today, but I'm not touching it. Not going to touch it. And high-speed rail. Vince Vaughn made 60 Minutes last night. Did you guys watch that? They did a basic ghost train piece And our Congressman Vince Vaughn was quoted heavily. We'll hear from Vince in that. And Savannah Guthrie, much to my shock, returned to work today for the very first time. I know the ratings must have been out of the roof, but she has returned to work. I suppose the family has embraced the idea that their mother is not coming back. I mean, even if she's been fed well and taken care of, she's been off her meds for 2-3 months. Yeah, I think they've kind of put their arms around the fact that they've got to move on with their lives. And she's the consummate pro, Jack. I watched the first half hour at least, and you would have never known that woman is going through the worst period of her life. You'd have never known it. She's just an absolute pro. But we begin with what was an incredible weekend, both for space and for our military. We pulled off something that I'm glad I didn't know about it Friday, because I would have predicted, well, I guess we did know about it Friday. And I guess I did predict this was going to be a tough situation to try to find a needle in a haystack. But our military pulled it off, and it's an incredible story. I'm just going off what I heard, and I may not have all the facts exactly right, but the one pilot that we were looking for was downed. He was injured. He had to climb a mountain so that the whatever you call it, radar finder, whatever you want to call it, homing device that he had on him would take effect. He was injured. He was bleeding. According to the president, he was badly wounded, and yet they were able to pluck him out. He was 40 miles from the crash site. And as I think some of you know, just everything about this rescue mission was miraculous. The fact that we sent 9 aircraft to an absolute desolate, isolated situation that had nothing to do with where his whereabouts was to throw off the Iranians, the fact that we got to him before the Iranians, the fact that we dodged a bullet on what would have been an incredible international situation where they would have had this pilot blindfolded and paraded him on the streets of Iran, and they would have had him signing stuff and saying stuff. I mean, we really dodged a bullet with this thing. We really, truly did. And it just goes to show you the just miraculous nature of our military and our military people. The fact that they went in, and in typical Trump fashion, they asked Trump was talking, and he said, he turned to one of the generals and he said, how many people were involved in this mission? And the general was like, well, I'd really rather not say, Mr. President. Everybody that went in the press room chuckled. And Trump turned, I swear it's true. I should have got the audio. Trump turns around and says, he doesn't want to say, and I don't want to say, but there were hundreds involved. How can you say you don't want to say, and then you say, there are hundreds and hundreds involved? Like, okay. But the situation is, we're in trouble. For the very reason that I've been banging every single day since February 1st. He's got to play this thing straight. And he's just not. He's just not. Let's just focus on the Strait of Hormuz for a second. Let's don't focus on anything else but just the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. First, you heard me read from his Truth Social that NATO and the Western Europe countries should, quote, get their own oil, that we don't have anything to do with it. Then he said, well, we want unconditional surrender. We want the Strait of Hormuz open. And if not, we will escort ships through. Then that changed. I mean, just on the strait alone, he's taken 4 to 5 different positions. And now he's talking about breaking international law. Here is the president from earlier this morning.
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
I hate to say this, but he's lying through his teeth. I'm throwing my whole reputation on the line here. There's no way in hell they meet that deadline. There's no way in hell he upholds that deadline. There's no way in hell he commits international crimes at 5 o'clock tomorrow Pacific time. No way in hell. No way in hell. He'll find some excuse to extend the negotiations. He'll say they're going extremely well and he'll extend the deadline. But I'm telling you something, if he starts bombing their electrical grids and their desalination plants, they will impeach him and Republicans might join him. He just might get removed. He just might. It is clear that if he does this, he's breaking international law. And how in the world can we hold Vladimir Putin's feet to the fire in terms of what he's doing in Ukraine if we're going to turn around and do the same damn thing? There is no way in the world, he bombs anything electrical in Iran. I heard John Bolton, Mr. Hawk, talking about saying, well, you know, if the electrical grid powers their military, then it's not international law violation. You're actually hitting a military site. Yeah, but in the process, if you're putting the Iranian people in the dark, Iran is the size a little bit bigger than Texas. You could put the whole nation, it could turn into Cuba. And if that happens, no, we've lost. We've lost. I've talked about this from the get-go. We've got to be the good guys in this thing. And now, like I said, I've stopped trying to figure out where this thing's going to go and what we're going to do. Because to be honest with you, I'm not sure the White House knows. I really don't. I really, really don't. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. When we come back, you'll hear more from the president. As this deadline fast approaches, Dr. Jeet Singh joins us in just a matter of minutes. Kathy Abernathy at the top of the hour. The president has weighed in on the gubernatorial race, much to the chagrin of Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. He is siding with Steve Hilton. We'll ask Kathy, could he have endorsed them both? Could he have said, I don't care who you vote for, but vote for one of the two Republicans? Let's get them both on the ticket so we can guarantee a Republican governor. But I'll tell you who he has endorsed. We'll get into that with Kathy. Get you through the Artemis mission, Artemis 2, which is going on as we speak, traveling at speeds of up to 25,000 miles per hour. And Gino Auriemma may have thrown away his legacy in one of the weirdest endings to a basketball game, when the Gamecocks, who lost to UCLA in the final, beat UConn. Gino lost his mind, absolutely lost his mind. We'll get to that in the 5. In the meantime, you're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We're joined by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to discuss all of the moves that he has made so far in Trump 2.0. And we'll continue to follow the fallout of President Trump's big address surrounding Iran. He's given them a deadline where he says he will unleash all of America's armaments and might. Very newsworthy edition of the Tuesday Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, oddly, one of the things that I rarely talk about when I talk about KC Steakhouse is lunch. If you work downtown, if you work for the county or wherever on Truxton, it's not very far and it's real quick and it's very convenient. And the menu is similar, just smaller portions.
I got a new Sangera for you. We don't have to do it today. We can do it tomorrow if you want, but just to give you a heads up.
You got it?
I got it right here.
Mostly a large groups that come to Casey's Steakhouse. And not everybody's feeling red meat to celebrate someone's birthday or an anniversary or whatever the event may be. And that's why Chef Daniel has advanced the menu. So there's Italian food. I love the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The lobster mac and cheese is everybody's favorite. The fish dishes, the mahi-mahi, the swordfish, the halibut. Where would you rather be than on F Street? And don't forget about the Stockyard next door for meetings, banquets, or just having dinner and having some of the craft cocktails that are served next door. It's Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Pet stains on your carpet? Carpet Outlet Plus has everything you need to make your floors pet-proof. With over 100 in-stock waterproof floors, Carpet Outlet Plus can solve your pet problems for good. We also stock over 50 colors of pet-perfect carpet. Call, click, or come by today for your free in-home estimate. Don't forget, for the do-it-yourselfer, we also offer free next-day delivery on all qualifying stock floors. And as a bonus, go to carpetoutletplus.com and apply for 12 months no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERF.
842-5376, 842-KERN. I'm dragging. Got in late last night. The president has spoken up about what we intend to do, what his priority is in terms of the Strait of Hormuz. But getting back to the rescue, this thing, I'm leaving out so many different facts. The fact that they scoured Iran for 7 hours during the day, that was the first mission. And then the second mission was 7 hours at night. That's where they found this guy. And first he hid in a cave and then in a crevice in the mountains. He had to climb 7,000 feet. Our military is badass. It really is. SEAL Team 6 went in. Our friend Robbie Pratt, his son is a Navy SEAL. And might have been involved for all we know. I bet Robbie doesn't even know until after the fact. But what this military is capable of doing is just absolutely unbelievable. It really, truly is. Meantime, the president talked about in an hour and a half, almost 2 hour long press conference about the Strait of Hormuz. And as I said, we've seen like 4 or 5 different answers in terms of the Strait. Remember, I read you that Truth Social where he said to NATO, we got into a discussion with Howard about how important NATO is. Robbie. Where they're saying, screw NATO. We don't need NATO. And so there was one point where he's saying, get your own oil. Now he's saying that he's going back to almost unconditional surrender. Here's more from the president.
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other things. We can bomb the hell out of them. We can knock them out for a loop. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water, and now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water. So it's not like the rest. We can knock out their military. We already have. We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force completely. We've knocked out 158 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out even their mine droppers. They don't have any mine droppers anymore, but they put them on other boats, and they could drop them. I'm not even sure they have any mines there, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm personally, they say there might be 8. I don't know. I think there might be none.
Do you see what I'm saying? There were 4 different answers in that bite alone. I'm not sure they have. We've wiped out their Navy. Are you sitting there as the leader of the free world talking about how we just plucked out a pilot from Iranian territory, and you're saying we've completely wiped out their Air Force? Are you really saying that? In the same voice, same face, same mouth? What a miraculous save we made from a man who was shot down, but we've completely knocked down their airfare, their Air Force, their air capability. But we just saved the guy who was shot down by their completely degraded and completely devastated air power. You got to play it straight. I'm going to say it every single day until this is over. You can't play this like a campaign. This isn't the midterms. This isn't a presidential campaign. This is life and death. And let's be honest, we got lucky as hell. Lucky as hell. Based on skill and our incredible military. But can you imagine if the Iranians had this guy right now? He's a colonel. Can you imagine what they'd be doing and what Trump would be saying? Because he's saying 9 different things. You can't lead like this. You can win campaigns. You can win presidential races. But you can't wage a war BSing, lying, saying one thing one day and another thing the next day. He told us this morning that they are negotiating with good faith. The Iranians, the death to America people, are negotiating in good faith. Does anybody buy that? I don't. I think he's buying time. They've completely poo-pooed a 45-day ceasefire, thank you, Jesus, because that'd be the worst thing in the world that would happen for the United States. No. We're either going to do this and completely devastate them, or let's get the hell out now. A 45-day ceasefire? No. No. That only helps the Iranians, in my opinion. That only helps them hide the uranium, the enriched uranium that we're at one point going to put boots on the ground. Remember that? It's just twists and turns. Remember that? We were on the verge of sending in boots on the ground to go fetch the uranium, the enriched uranium that they have 60% of. They need to get to 90% to get a nuclear weapon. That was on the table for 1 minute. I truly believe they're going about this day to day. They're going about this the way Doc goes about leading the Dodgers. One game at a time. And you can't plan a war like that. It's Monday. What are we doing today, Mr. President? That's not how you wage a war. And there's no end in sight. There's no mission, really. If anybody knows what the mission is, please enlighten me so I can share it with this community, because I have no clue. Absolutely no clue. First, I thought it was about the nuclear infrastructure. Then I thought it was about the ballistic shield. Then I thought it was about the uranium that was on the ground. Then I thought it was about regime change. All right. Your guess is as good as mine. It really is. Head into the back half of the hour. It's a Monday, so Dr. Jeet Singh will join us. Coming up at the top of the hour, Kathy Abernathy will be here. Talk about the gubernatorial race, talk about the war. And we'll get caught up with Artemis 2 as it's in the midst of its slingshot around the moon, going farther and faster than any human. And high-speed rail got underneath the 60-minute microscope last night. You'll hear from our Congressman Vince Vaughn. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Dr. Jeet Singh joins us next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Israel has again attacked Iran's South Pars natural gas and petrochemical complex, an energy lifeline for Iran that both helps keep the lights on for civilians and provides a key source of export earnings. Meanwhile, President Trump says he's not at all concerned about committing possible war crimes as he threatens the destruction of Iran's bridges and power plants if they don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Speaking to reporters at the White House, the president refused to say whether any civilian targets would be off limits if Iran doesn't meet his Tuesday 8 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Savannah Guthrie has returned to NBC's Today Show anchor desk for the first time since her mother's disappearance more than 2 months ago. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 165 points. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. Overnight closures begin tonight on Interstate 5 near the Lebec Road crossing area near Grapevine. Caltrans says that'll be tonight and tomorrow night, and the lanes closed will be the outside lanes. Then, starting Wednesday night, long-term closures of those lanes will be 24/7 through May as they put in crossover lanes. 4 people have been arrested and 4 people are also being treated after a shooting incident that began with a neighborhood argument Sunday afternoon just before 5. Bakersfield PD says that was on Half Dome Way, which is near White Lane in South Bakersfield. Some of the people involved were juveniles. No names have been released. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine.
No Jeet. Can't get through.
Are you serious?
What's possible? Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Tuesday's Armstrong and Getty Show, another day, another deadline, but I think this one might be serious. We'll have all the very latest.
And let's talk about the U.S.-Europe alliance. What does the current conflict with Iran show us? It's a bit of a stress test, and it's not going well. Plus, what's with all the defeatists who are rooting for America to do poorly in this battle? On the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk
Went back to work today for the first time since her mother was abducted in the middle of the night from her Tucson home. I don't know how she's doing it. I suppose the family is treating it, although I can't even speculate because you can't treat it as if she's dead. Elizabeth Smart, it took them 10, 11 months to find Elizabeth Smart. Until her body is found, I guess the family has to treat it like there is a possibility. Here is how the show opened with Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning. Welcome to Today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go. Ready or not, let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back.
Wow. That takes that. You have no idea. You have no idea. Just the pressure of doing television and the pressure of coming back, knowing that the eyes of the world are on you. And I don't know how she does it. She was skinny as a rail. You could tell that she'd lost a lot of weight. Meantime, TMZ is alleging that they have received yet another alleged ransom note. This is a little bit long audio, but this is Harvey Levin from TMZ.
A little bit of news with you. The person who has been incessantly contacting us, saying, stopped for a while. Yeah. We got another letter today from this person, an email saying, I know where her body is and who the kidnapper is. Give me half a Bitcoin and I'll tell you. And this person has been really persistent, knowing that if it's a scam, it's a federal crime. Right. But they also made the point that they wanted to make it clear that they have nothing to do with it. Right. They've been out of the country, but who knows? We forwarded it to the FBI, right, as we have in the past. Right. For whatever reason, and this is the thing we haven't figured out, you have to assume that the law enforcement, they believe that this person is not legit. Otherwise, they would have advised Savannah to pay the money. Can we just be really transparent? I think you're right that the law enforcement doesn't. There's something. I just can't figure out why.
Why not take a flyer? The price of Bitcoin is much lower now. These are like, you could just take a flyer and see what the person knows. The most you lose is 20 grand, 25 grand.
I'll tell you why. My spidey senses tell me
there's
something about this guy, because one of the emails he sent said early on, time is of the essence to do this. And then the next day he said, time is no longer of the essence. If he was pulling a scam, why would you say time is no longer of the essence? Right.
You want to keep the value high.
You want to keep the value high.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said this made me think, this guy knows something.
Yeah. It's a way to look honest as well.
I'm not, look, right. I'm not FBI. I'm not privy to all the information they are, but
you're talking about from the
outside. All right, that's enough. I can't take it anymore. See, this is the problem with TMZ. I like TMZ because they get the information. They pay for it, which is completely and totally unethical. And this is the problem when you play fast and loose with journalism. And it's not by the book. It's not strictly by the book. Because now they're using this situation to pump up their ratings. Because if you listen to that closely, Harvey Levin contradicted himself. First, what's the black guy's name? Sam? I don't know, whatever. They first say they think this is nonsense. And the cops obviously think this is nonsense. And then at the very end, Harvey says, wait a minute, though, my spidey senses. What the hell does that mean? You see what I mean when you got to play journalism straight? My spidey senses? Shut up, Harvey. You're an attorney who taught a bunch of kids how to look up warrants. And you pay people for stories, and they give it to you, and you beat everybody because everybody else is ethical, and nobody pays for stories but you. But do you see what I'm getting at? How they're lengthening this thing? They're first saying, well, we think this is nonsense, and then they're saying, well, but my spidey senses tell me that why would he say this if he wasn't real? They want him to be real because they're dealing with him, and it spikes their ratings. And then you've got this other knucklehead who I used to watch the show. It doesn't come on here in town anymore. But this guy, the third guy, is one of the contributors. They have a bunch of contributors, and this guy's a Harvard graduate. The guy who says, why wouldn't you just give it to him on a flyer? Oh my God. Why would you just give a guy $20,000, $30,000 just to find out if he knows something? Because you've opened Pandora's box, you moron. You've absolutely opened the tube of toothpaste and you can't put it back. Because now Ralph Bailey's going to call and say, you know what, I'm in Bakersfield, but I know. Give me a Bitcoin and I know where her body is. Everybody and their mama be calling in if you just start throwing out Bitcoins, you Harvard idiot. Or just give it to him on a flyer. Maybe he knows something. It's like, oh, God. This is why we have the FBI and we have police force to handle these situations. So idiots like this, and he's a Harvard guy. Just give him the money. Let's see what he knows. Yeah, that's always a good way to go about it. Meantime, as I've told you, Chris Nanos is on his way out, the sheriff of Pima County. They've started the recall and the numbers are flying. He's on his way out. They're not only going to get the numbers, but they're going to remove him. He has bungled this thing from day one. From day one, when he knew that this was a national story that involved one of the most visible, most popular women in the nation. And for 48 hours, he neglected to call the federal agents. And then he allowed the press to just trample all over the crime scene. And you remember they kept finding these gloves that had nothing to do with nothing. And then there was the part where Nano said to the public, it could be a year before we find her. Like, who says that? Like the Guthrie family wants to hear that? You don't say that in public, even if you believe it wholeheartedly, if you know it for a fact. You don't say that out loud. It's just crazy. I think she has long been gone. I don't think this ever was a kidnapping. I think it was maybe a robbery gone badly. I mean, who knows? I don't think anybody knows. I don't think Nanos knows. I don't think any of his deputies know. I don't think Kash Patel knows, nor any of his agents. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think they have a clue. Because they keep saying we're getting closer, we're getting closer, we're getting closer, and there's absolutely nothing. And for Savannah Guthrie to go back to work means they're not close. They're not close. If they were close, do you think she'd go back to work? Do you think if they were close, she would be in the state of New York and not in the state of Arizona? Really? They're not in the zip code. And it'd be interesting to be behind the scenes and find out, did NBC tell her, look, we've given you 2 months. You know, there's not much more we can give you. You know, you're not Chanel, the black girl whose husband died, who was gone for 3 or 4 months. I watch it every day. I don't even remember her last name. You know what I'm saying? You're the main anchor, Savannah. We can only do without you for so long. You know what I'm saying? It's like the difference between Rui going down and Luca. There's a difference. And you can only go so far without Luca. Well, the Today Show can only go so far without their star. And they knew that her comeback was going to be gargantuan. And so you're coming off Easter. I bet they put little screws to her a little bit, just a little bit. And just kind of gave her the kind of, come back when you want to, but we need you kind of a thing. You know what I mean? No, take your time. But after Easter would be great. You know, with the ratings coming out. What was it, May? What a sweeps month for national television? I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and take a break. And we come back, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Coming up at the top of the hour, Kathy Abernathy will join us. We'll talk about the gubernatorial race as it's getting closer and closer to June. And we still got 2 Republicans atop of the leaderboard. And now Donald Trump has put his thumb on the scale. I'll tell you who he's endorsing. Artemis 2 is speeding around the moon, literally, as we speak. We'll get you caught up as they begin to head back to Earth during our broadcast, like right at the end of our broadcast. Here's the thing that I don't understand. They're making a big deal out of the fact that this crew is going faster and farther than any man ever. They're going further than the Apollo 13 mission, which was an abject failure. I don't know if you remember that, if you saw the movie with Mr. Hanks, or if you know history and know who Jim Lovell is. But in 1970, they went 245,000 miles out, right? 245. It's 2026. They're going 255,000 miles. So it's like a difference of maybe 10,000 miles in like 50-something years. I mean, we're barely edging out a 1970 spacecraft, and we're making a big deal out of it? You know what I'm saying? Oh. Maybe I'm just Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative. Ralph Bailey. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday. Right here on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Big Mike.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
There's nothing to see here. These kinds of things happens all the time. Businesses donate to campaigns all the time. What do you mean? We've never had to have 3 supervisors recuse themselves on a vote and not be able to have quorum. When was the last time we had to draw a name out of the hat? You mean this doesn't happen that often?
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The cold weather is officially behind us, and it's that time of year. Spring has sprung. There are all kind of golf tournaments going on. Graduations are just about 8 weeks away. And if you're looking for a caterer for the event, you need to turn to my good friend Mike Arey and Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. Told you a lot about Mike Arey. We're going to have him on the program this week. He's a former Garces kid, made it all the way to the NFL. And it's that discipline and hard work that Mike has used in his catering business. It's made him one of the best caterers in town. Call him today at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. Doesn't matter what your event is. It could be graduation, could be a birthday party, could be a wedding, could be a simple luncheon. It doesn't matter. Mike comes with his crew, his staff, his rig. They do the cooking, they do the serving, they do the cleaning. All you do is pick up the phone and call Mike today at 393-5507. That's 661-393-5507. Mike Arey and Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue.
Last week, there was the Paul Sheldon sighting. Kind of rare and very exciting. Everyone asking, where has he been? Of course, his clients weren't worried about their Medicare, even when Paul in person wasn't there, because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. The grandkids like to play, Where's Waldo? Granddad's asking, hey, where'd Paul go? Just games that are fun to win. But when push comes to shove and the day is done, we know it's covered, so it's all in fun. Because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. Over the years, so many have said it. The guy's a genius. Gotta give the man credit. He put it together way back then. Brought along those 3 Medicare pros, who of course by now everyone knows are Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that? My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine. My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Da 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 da. La da da da, la da da da, la da da da. I was gonna clean the room till I got high. I was gonna get up, clean the room, and I got high. And I know why, Ralph. Hey, because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. Man, Mr. Gummy, just call me Mr. Gummy.
You're loving those.
I am, and I'm out. Although I've got like they gave me a mini bag.
Mini bag?
Yeah, it's like little like gumdrops.
Oh, okay.
And they're like 2.2 grams of a piece. But I don't know how many to eat, so I'm not messing with it. I mean, how many do you eat?
That's a good question.
They're tiny. They're like little cubes. They're tiny.
And tiny little cubes?
Yeah.
You didn't see how much the other ones were?
Well, the other ones were big.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like milligram wise.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say because you can scientifically do it that way, but it requires math and yeah.
I didn't even look. 842-537-6842 KER. And what do you got on the board?
Let's see. Wow, I was just thinking how negative you are today, and you just said it, Mr. Negative.
No, well, yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean, what is there to be positive about? I mean, it's positive. I opened up the show positively. We plucked out this colonel. You know, it's. I don't like the needle in a haystack. I like a needle in a stack full of needles. That's what it was like. I mean, the fact that he was injured and that he climbed this mountain and he affected his own wounds is just, and 40 miles from the crash site, and we found him before the Iranians. It's miraculous. In terms of the war, there is nothing positive about it. I mean, we got incredibly lucky because the Iranians had gotten a hold of him. Now we've got an international incident on our hands. And now the president is lying and saying that there's some kind of deadline tomorrow. And if they don't meet this deadline, which we know they're not going to meet, that he's going to blow up the whole planet or the whole country, which is not going to happen. There's no way Susan Wiles, Pat Summerall's granddaughter, his chief of staff, is going to let him commit an international crime because he will get impeached and he might get removed. There's a sense that I have that there are a number of Republicans who support Trump kicking and screaming because they have no choice. But if he commits an international crime where it appears that those Republicans have no choice but to go against him, they could remove his ass. They really could. Particularly if he goes after their desalination plant. Now, granted, from what I understand, it only impacts like 5% of their water. But you just don't do that because now you've opened the door to all our neighbors, let alone us, for them doing the same thing. And as I said at the top of the show, how do we hold Vladimir Putin responsible for what he's doing if we're going to commit the same type of war crimes? There's no way in the world he can do this. That's why I'm saying you got to play this straight. Because if Ralph Bailey's going to call your bluff, what do you think the Iranians are going to do? If I know for a fact that he's not going to bomb Iran tomorrow, don't you think the Iranians know he's not going to do it? Maybe he does and puts his whole legacy and presidency and future in jeopardy. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. They'll come up with some excuse. They'll extend the deadline. They'll say the negotiations are going extremely well. We're really close. So we're going to give them another day or two. We'll give them another 48, another 72, another 96. There's no way in hell we drop one bomb tomorrow at 5 o'clock when the show is on the air. What else you got?
Trump don't know how foreign policy works. President Obama negotiated a nuclear deal with Iran that was with a coalition with 4 other countries. Now this incompetent baboon makes empty threats that are actually war crimes, threatening to bomb civilians.
Well, let's remember what Barack Obama did and all the exaggerations that Mr. Trump does, and the fact that Barack Obama's cooking omelets in his head. It is true that we gave them a lot of money. I don't know what the figure is. The president's quoted $1.5 billion. You know, I'm not going to go by him, but the fact of the matter is that that nuclear deal was worthless, absolutely worthless, unless you believe that we can negotiate with the Iranians. If you believe that, then that nuclear deal we should have kept, right? Because the Iranians never lie. And they don't have a mission to kill Americans and to kill Israelis, right? So we should just negotiate with them. Give me a break. Give me a break. They took Barack Obama to the cleaners and got paid for it. And Papajenko, look what we got. Anybody want them with a nuclear weapon? Are you saying that they weren't at some point close to getting a nuclear weapon after the Obama deal? Really? You really think we can negotiate with these people and they're going to keep their word? Really? Guess what? I don't. I don't believe anything that comes out of their pile. Not one single word. And I don't think they're ever going to stop trying to get nuclear weapons. They know how much the world does not want them to have them. They know how much the region would change if they had them. They know they would be the king of the region if they had one. And so they're never going to stop. Never, ever. And we are going to have to continue to mow the lawn, as the phrase has become well known. Every 5 or 7 years, we're going to have to check in on these people and perhaps bomb them back into the Stone Age, or let them get a nuclear weapon. It's you know, that's the choice. It really is. Another North Korea, this one in the Middle East. One more.
Ralph, would you ever get on a hot air balloon if they served wine on them?
No. I just watched a tragic film from France where it was a wedding, and they had the video of them on the ground, and then they went up and this thing caught on fire, and you see 2 people falling to the ground where they just couldn't take it anymore, and the rest of them burned up in the canopy. No, I would never get in a hot air balloon. Never, ever. Hell, I need 2 or 3 cocktails to get on a plane, to get in a tube that goes 600 miles an hour. You think I'm getting into a balloon? No, not doing it. No desire. Why? Why would I challenge life like that? No. One more. That's a crazy question, by the way.
That's actually all we got right now.
All right. Kathy Abernathy is going to join us in just a matter of minutes. We'll get you down to space at 4:30. Talk about the Artemis 2. They have broken a record, the distance record set by Apollo 13. Am I the only one that thought what I thought, though? Am I being negative by saying, what's the big deal that we're breaking a record by a 1970 space capsule? And a crew that screwed the pooch. It wasn't their fault, but Apollo 13 was the failed mission. That was the one with Jim Lovell and the guy that became a congressman and died. Jim, I forget. Hey, Siri, what are the names of the crew of Apollo 13?
The crew of Apollo 13 were
James Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes. Swigert is the one that ran for Congress and died before he could serve. He got cancer. He was played by Dirty Dancing. What's his name? Kevin Bacon. Played by Kevin Bacon in the movie with Tom Hanks. I wonder where. Head into the 4:00 hour. We'll talk about the gubernatorial race with Kathy Abernathy. In the meantime, keep it locked. We'll talk a little Dodger baseball. The UCLA Bruins are NCAA champions for the very first time on the women's side. And Shohei is showing some signs of breaking out as the Dodgers sweep the Nats, taking on Toronto tonight. Kathy Abernathy joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Top secret technology led to the rescue of a downed airman after his U.S. fighter jet was shot down in Iran. CIA Director John Ratcliffe says the search and rescue operation in Iran was complex.
We deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert.
Meanwhile, Iran on Monday rejected a 45-day ceasefire proposal and said it wants a permanent end to the war. Israel and the United States also carried out a wave of attacks on Iran, which responded with missile fire on Israel and its Gulf Arab neighbors. A top Federal Reserve official says interest rates could soon be heading higher. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Beth Hammack is president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland and prefers to keep the benchmark rate unchanged for quite some time. But she says an interest rate increase could be appropriate if inflation remains persistently above the central bank's 2% target. Other Fed officials have recently opened the door to possible rate hikes. President Trump has spent his entire second term harshly criticizing the Fed for not cutting rates further. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Artemis 2 astronauts continue their voyage around the moon. Monday's lunar journey comes after the 3 Americans and 1 Canadian broke Apollo 13's distance record, the farthest that humans have ever traveled from Earth. During the hours-long flyby, Artemis 2 will temporarily lose contact with mission control as the capsule passes behind the moon without stopping. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 165 points. More at Town Hall.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
What happens when feelings replace morality? If right and wrong are just personal opinions, and who decides why violence, theft, or chaos are wrong? In his new book, If There Is No God, Dennis Prager tackles the biggest questions of good, evil, suffering, and justice, offering clear arguments for anyone searching for moral clarity in a troubled age. If There Is No God by Dennis Prager. Available now at PragerStore.com. That's PragerStore.com. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
4 people arrested in a Bakersfield shooting. I'm Chris Davis. As many as 4 people were also hurt in that incident, which was Sunday afternoon on Half Dome Way, which is in South Bakersfield near White Lane and Hughes Lane, says Bakersfield PD. It was about 10 minutes before 5 when the shooting started, but the arguments that led up to it started before that. A couple of people who were inside a house had gunshot wounds, and police say that a juvenile and an adult outside were also hurt and had to be taken to the hospital. That all led to a standoff with police, but that is all over. Police have not yet made any names public. Some long-term closures are about to start on Interstate 5, so if you go that way near Grapevine, you should be aware that starts tonight with some short-term closures, and it'll be overnight tonight and tomorrow night. That'll be the outside lanes, both directions near Lebec Road crossing. The long-term 24/7 closures start Wednesday night in the same area and will last through May. A man who did 25 years of a 50-year to life sentence for bank robbery will be getting out of prison early. It was October 24th, 2000, when Michael Moore, now 66, held up the Union Bank on Oswald Street in Bakersfield. He got away with $6,000 and was caught quickly. He was convicted the next year and sent to prison for the third time. Now the state parole board says he's no longer a threat and he'll get out in early 2027. If you've been keeping up closely with gas prices, the talk of both the ceasefire with Iran and the talk of blowing up more of their infrastructure have not affected prices in California over the past couple of days, and the state average for a gallon of regular is still at $5.88, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, 6th day of April. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Bottom of the hour, we'll get caught up with Artemis 2. They are 7:05. Let's find out. They are scheduled to be as close to the moon as they possibly could be. They're 4,000 feet from the moon. And then at 4:07 our time, they're headed back. No, that's when they'll be the farthest away. And then they will witness a solar eclipse. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern time, right when the show ends, they're coming home. It's a 4-day trip. We'll keep you updated on that. And Vince Vaughn was featured in last night's 60 Minutes piece on high-speed rail. You will hear from him. And that's some other audio we'll get to as well. But it is a Monday. Professor Kathy Abernathy. How are you, Professor?
Well, I'm great. And I saw him heading on the highway. Just hit me that the first time in 10 years, well, I don't know how long my daughter's been there, drove to Hermosa Beach, but through LA, which is always throw an extra hour, right? Because you can't get there in 2 hours.
No.
Got there in 2 hours and 2 minutes. No traffic. I know it's Easter morning, but I still thought it would be packed. And even coming home, we left there at 6-ish. You think going by LAX? You know, schools, public schools get out only for this week. Aren't they back in school already? So I was shocked. 2 hours each way. That's like unheard of. It used to always be that way, but I haven't been able to do that in years. So
Yeah.
I feel good about traffic.
I was, we were on the road like 10. So
Last night?
Yeah, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Right. Well, I didn't want to do that because I read that one lane in the mountains was going to be closed starting at 9 p.m., but maybe it's 9 p.m. tonight. I thought it was last night. But no traffic. So that was a beautiful weekend.
You spent it in Hermosa Beach, one of my favorite places.
Very nice. Good.
And you still haven't gone to Tony's Fish Market, have you?
No, I'm going to write it here because I'll tell my daughter we're doing it next time.
It is the best seafood joint in the South Bay, if not the whole city.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's Fish Market, right there on Redondo Beach.
Okay.
I bet you could walk there from your
Well, we
daughters.
walked from her house a long trip down to, we went all the way to, what's the other island?
pier?
Manhattan Beach. We went to that pier where there's an aquarium at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was a long walk, but it was a beautiful day.
Was there an El Torito's on the pier?
I didn't see any kind of commercial on
No.
the pier.
Oh, then that's
I
okay.
didn't
That's
see that.
yeah, that's Manhattan. Then you need to go to Redondo Beach, is where Tony's is.
Yeah. Redondo Beach is Tony's. Okay.
Yes. Best.
Will do. Got to do it.
And have the trout.
I love fish. Yeah.
Have the trout. It's so good. And sit in the back where you can see dolphins and ask for a seat in the back.
Well, she must have eaten there. Why didn't she ever suggest that?
I don't know.
My little granddaughter would love that.
Oh,
I'm sure.
Especially for lunch.
Uh-huh.
For lunch, because at night you can't see a thing, but you go for lunch on a
That's
beautiful
when we
day
were
like
out,
today, and you can see dolphins and seals and It's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
No,
joints.
it's very not quaint, but it's a lot of people. But it's interesting. You can just walk to so many things in that small town. But it is. What my son-in-law told me, it's like 2 square miles or something.
They're all connected. Hermosa,
Beach,
Redondo, Manhattan.
So I wonder who fought over. I was telling him, I wonder who fought over those lines to get separate cities. And then you run for council, is like 12 votes to 10 or something.
Do they have separate municipalities?
Yeah.
Do they? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Anyway.
So Tom Steyer is running anti-Eric Swalwell ads. Did you see that?
Well, I was going to bring you because that's been going on in the Republican Party, because this is all I've gotten from Hilton against with his name on it against
anti-Chad Bianco ads.
Yeah, and they're all pretty rough. But it's
I knew he was going to try to take advantage of this.
Yeah, well, it's been going on though. But yeah.
I asked Sheriff Bianco about this. The ad, if you can see this for those that are smart enough to go on YouTube, it shows Sheriff Bianco kneeling at a Black Lives Matter situation. You can go back, and if you can find it, when we spoke with Sheriff Bianco, I asked him about this, and he said it was bogus and this and that. But
what was it then? I didn't know what his defense was. I couldn't.
I don't know. We need to pull up that audio. Maybe we'll play that tomorrow.
But I mean, go back to the original time it happened, because obviously there was something big going on in Riverside County that was a protest that he was trying to confront. I thought his point was, I wasn't sure if the bending on the knee was to calm things down. That's what I first thought, but that's not. I have not spent the time to research it.
It's a bad photo, boy, I'll tell you. Because there's a brother standing right in front of him, and it just doesn't look good at all. Does not look good. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know how effective that'll be compared to the Trump endorsement, which is obviously
gargantuan.
Gargantuan.
He is sided with Steve Hilton. Mm-hmm. There was no way he could have said, I endorsed both of them.
Well, your logic on that, like you're saying that would make sure that maybe both would get to November. I don't see that. I didn't vote for it, but in 2010, when the public voted for no more partisan primaries, and I was reading the ballot language, which is how this all passes, is just not in the back in the book in the sample ballot where there's pages and pages, but when you look at your ballot, it said so that you can vote for who you want to vote for. And, you're free to vote for who you want to by breaking up the fact that we had a primary system, so that in November you would have the two political philosophies at odds and pitching their cause. Now, that's not the case. We've had the same two Democrats in the general for years in these races.
That's why this state is so screwed up, because this state is so screwed up. The people are so screwed up.
Right.
I was watching this 60-minute piece on high-speed rail, and it's not like I forgot, but when you hear somebody say, and Californians voted for it, you're like, that's right, we did, didn't we?
But it was pretty tight. It was pretty tight. It was pretty close. Kind of reminds me of the sales tax increase that Bakersfield has that I disagree with.
That's what I'm saying.
106,000 votes and 57 between yes and no.
We are our own worst enemy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's embarrassing to recite high-speed rail. I didn't vote for it, but to think they voted.
They voted. 08, was it?
08, because the pitch was a jobs bill, because remember the economy was crashing at that time. Housing prices, everything was crazy. And jobs to build something, which all the jobs were contractors who got a ton of money who've done nothing. And as you know, I've complained about, I'm on the Get Bus board. And High Speed Rail wants to buy their offices and repair shops off of the 24th Street. They're at 24th and F.
Oh, really?
Right up. They want to buy it for their Bakersfield terminal. Let's get that land bought and built. Let's get that terminal built, people, because people are going to be pouring into Bakersfield
in 2033, so they can go to Merced.
And in 29, 10,000 in my book, it will never ever be built. And I'll tell you, I'm against it.
Did you see the 60 Minutes piece last night?
No, I saw clips of it on the news, but I was driving.
And they've got the two brothers. I was like, why did it have to be two brothers that are ahead of the money?
Oh,
And did you hear it? I'm
No.
playing the audio. Listen in at
Okay.
4:30,
Okay.
where they're just like, the reporter's like, so you really have no idea where you're getting the money, do you? No. But we're very, very confident that we can get the $23 billion needed. We're very, very confident.
Well, what they've already
Have you
spent.
gone crazy?
Did they admit what they've already spent?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What? 20, 30, 100 billion? I mean, it's some insane amount of money, and nothing's built except they put up hideous concrete overpass, just the base of it on the way to Fresno. There's on 99, and now they're going to try to tear up Shafter and run through it. I mean, I think we should lay people in the road. I will. Stop them.
Vince is the star of the 60-minute piece.
Yeah, I saw it.
We're going to play some
Yeah,
audio
good,
from it.
good. No, it needs to be exposed. And yeah, I wish the voters would double check everything on the ballot when it comes to a proposition, especially if the state attorney general is writing the language. And I'm sorry, I have it on silent, but even if the state attorney general, as we've had Democrat attorney generals for the last 15 years, if they're writing the ballot language for you, you better look at other sources, because it's like when we tried to get rid of the gas tax and you had to vote yes to repeal the gas tax. The attorney general wrote on the ballot, a yes vote will reduce the amount of money to repair roads. Who's going to vote for that? Will you vote to reduce the amount of money to repair roads? But he did that, so of course, got a no vote, and no vote did not repeal the gas tax hike. And media around the country was just laughing at us that Californians won't even drop a gas tax when they had a chance to. And just like high-speed rail, you voted for it, and this is what you get.
61 cents
on a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not including federal, it's a little bit more than that. So basically, I tell people it's about $14 of every tank goes to Gavin Newsom's pocket to spend as he wants, and it's insane. And just like when they were talking about how gas prices are so high in New York City now, New York gas is $4 a gallon. We wish we had $4 a gallon.
No kidding. Because we're at like close to $6 now out here.
Yeah. And if you knock out $1.16 in taxes, yeah, we'd be back down too. But the gall of this legislature to raise that much, and I don't know, I haven't seen 99 get paved better, or Interstate 5 was built, 1968, and it's still 2 lanes on each side.
Yeah.
And if you ever drive that, the semi trucks are in both lanes because you're behind them the whole way.
Right.
There's no other lane for you. So poor management. It's unfortunate. But this Trump endorsement of Steve Hilton, I don't see it as causing the issue that you feel so certain that we're going to have 2 Republicans in the general. I didn't see that coming. I think you're going to see that, as you were just saying, the Democrats are fighting each other now. And I still think Porter could maybe come out of this ahead. I don't know. But there will be a Democrat. I just hope we have 1 Republican. Because I think also in terms of Republicans, there's the very strong pro-Trump Republicans who will obviously gravitate to Hilton. Then there's I'll call them the Bush, Cheney, that era Republicans.
The neoconservatives.
Yeah, they're not, they don't like, they might say, oh, well, then we'll go with Bianco because Trump didn't go with him. But I don't think there's enough to sway the election myself, but I could be wrong.
Can Hilton win a partisan general election? Can he win against a Democrat?
Well, can he win against a Democrat? I think if he wages, I've been telling people who ask me who you're supporting, I say, I want to wait and see the kind of campaign they run in May, late April and May, so that I know whether they have the talent of themselves and are hiring the talent to put the campaign out that can win the voters. Until I see that, I haven't really selected one. Trump is with Hilton, and I've been fine with Hilton. I don't know Bianco as well, but that doesn't mean he's not. But again, I repeat, what can a Republican governor do? Virtually, he will have to veto every bill that comes to him, every single bill. And every veto he makes can be overridden because the legislature is 85% of one party. So this is what you've got. We'll put a Republican in there and he can veto. And maybe once in a while they'll try to negotiate something, but whatever it is, we'll have to give in. We're not going to get what we would have gotten with a Republican governor and a decent legislature where you could actually work with them. But when you're so overwhelming one party, there's no negotiating.
You don't think this puts the kibosh on Chad Bianco, the Trump endorsement?
I don't know. You and I were battling last week over the fact that you were telling me how Bianco's Italian. And I don't know. I talked to one Hispanic who said to me that they know some Biancos, so maybe that are Hispanic. I thought it would be an attractive name to the Hispanic population, but I could be very wrong because that he's Italian.
No, I don't know that for a fact. I just assumed Bianco was an Italian name.
I think it is, but I think it could pass. I don't know. So my only problem with Bianco is I feel like it's such a hard, his impression is good in the Central Valley, but you've got to make it on the coast. And when the coast, San Diego, Orange, up the coast.
Why do you think the polls have been pretty damn consistent? Why do you think at the last minute they're just going to swing and not include the two Republicans?
What? No, I'm not saying that one of them won't make it.
No, I'm saying
you still think two will make it.
Yes, the polls have been pretty consistent with these two on top.
But a couple things. The polls they're polling the general voting public. I hope they go off a voter list and not just the public, because that's a whole different animal too. People that are registered to vote. And of course, I don't waste time with just the registered voters. I only go to voters who vote in primaries. It's a different group of people than the group that vote in generals. It's a much smaller group. So that's who they should be polling. And I don't think they poll that way because it's more expensive. It takes more time to find those people that vote in primaries.
But I think you make my argument. You're saying that, okay, so Steyer is now in double digits. You're saying you think Porter's going to come back. Swalwell's going to be in the mix. So that's a lot of divided votes right there.
Well, I don't know how much.
Just among those three.
Right. How much? I mean, Steyer prints his own money, so we know he's got the money, which is why he looks good right now, because he's the only one advertising statewide. But perhaps Swalwell, I don't know what kind of money he's getting. Of course, he's giving up his still in Congress. Yeah. So he's giving up his congressional seat to do this. So he should be serious about it. I don't see if our former Attorney General, Vice President Kamala is going to endorse, and if that's going to help with a segment of the population.
That's not going to help.
They're all saying that's okay. That's okay, Kamala. Don't take a position. So I still think it's up in the air. We're going to start seeing campaigns come to life the last week of April, all of May. And I want to see both these Republicans, who's going to put out the best stuff to the voters. And right now, we do know that Hilton has this issue on Bianco, but that I don't think that issue will be the only thing to make people make up their mind. Trump won't be a big help. Trump got, strong vote in California last time too. And but normally Republicans are a solid third of the state. Put in another almost what would be the fraction, less than a third. Another quarter at least, NPPs that are conservative, no party preference, and you can get up to 50%. But I don't think it's put the kibosh. I think the two can fight it, and in debates that are, there's been a lot of televised debates statewide. I think that will have an impact for people that are undecided. And once those start airing, which I think there have been some online, but I don't know how much those have been watched. So.
I just think the fact that there are three strong Democrats that really there's no real separation, that it could be 15-15-15 and split the vote, and Hilton and Bianco slide in there, and we're guaranteed a governor.
Oh, that'll be a first. That'll be a first if that happens.
I think it's possible. I really do.
Well, it is if those three just look pathetic to the Democrat voters. Steyer's his ads are pretty clever. They're not true, but he's pretty clever. Katie, I don't know Porter how she's going to portray it. But like what I said last time I was here, 62 candidates on that list, mostly Democrats, and
that's what
about
I'm
11
saying.
Republicans.
That's what I'm saying. It waters down the vote.
Barack Obama Shah.
You don't think he's going to get some votes?
I guess so. But I'm in challenge you a little bit on your concern about Donald Trump and Iran.
Yeah.
Because as he has said, and there's been some great articles on this that I've been reading.
Do you think he's handling this well?
I think he's handling a crazed monster, which is what Iran has been. At least compared to other presidents that have done nothing.
We're waging this war well. You think we're doing a good job?
Yeah, we haven't done anything that you could say we lost at so far. What have we lost at?
Mixed messaging. The message of the Strait of Hormuz. You really think that he's going to hold his deadline tomorrow night? There's no way in hell, Kathy. There's no way in hell. They'll come up, the White House will come up with some excuse that they've extended the negotiations. They'll say that the negotiations are going well, so we're going to extend it. There's no way he's going to commit an
Well, what if the negotiations are going well? And so he does extend it, and maybe I don't think you can negotiate with those people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you have to blow them to smithereens, which is what he's threatening to do. And so.
But he's about to commit an international crime. He's about to commit a war crime.
To blow all those bridges up and everything?
Yes, and the power plants. And
why is that an international crime? Again, this is what we didn't do to North Korea. We played along with them. Barack Obama, $1.71 billion he gave them in cash. And for what? That they were supposed to calm it down, and Iran didn't. North Korea flirted for years with us, and Bill Clinton was actually going to get tougher on them, and then Jimmy Carter offered to negotiate. I can't imagine we sat still when Jimmy Carter in the 90s offered to negotiate with North Korea on our behalf, and he sold us down the river.
Do you agree with Howard that this idea that we blow off NATO is a good idea?
Well, I think they need to be pushed harder. I don't know if American people realized how they don't pay their fare, how they do depend on us completely, and they have the money, and then they won't even let us not only use their airport, but fly over their land to get to Iran. My gosh, who's our friend? I mean, England's a joke now. There's no loyalty there. But what do we get if we let NATO know? Build up, people. Defend yourselves. Put some money in the game. Stop making. They're 100% welfare states, most of them now.
What would you do if you're Keir Starker and you are Prime Minister of Great Britain and Ralph Bailey gets the United States into a war that I haven't consulted with you, Keir. I haven't told you anything about it. And all of a sudden, you've got to make a decision whether you're going to jump into this war that the president started on a hunch. You're really going to get involved?
On a hunch?
Yes.
What's a hunch? Really?
That's his words. That's his words. That's his words, Kathy.
Yeah.
When Marco Rubio came out and said, we did this because Israel was going to attack Iran, and then Iran was going to attack Israel and us, so we went. Then the president corrected him the very next day and said, no. I felt that they were going to attack us, so I pushed the button, essentially. It was essentially a hunch that the president of the United States started this thing on. And you think we're conducting this well? I think they wake up each day trying to figure out what they're going to do today. I don't think there's a plan.
Pretty well so far. What have you been disappointed in?
The lack of messaging, the different messages. Go get your own oil. We're going to escort ships. Unconditional surrender. We'll negotiate till the 6th. And tomorrow he's going to extend it again. His word is bupkis.
Yeah,
that you and Howard think that this is that y'all think this is a good idea to get away from NATO?
Oh, I'm not trying to get away from NATO. We are NATO. We are it. No, we're paying the bills. And what are we getting for it? What are we getting for a country that won't even let us? Where's the peace? They won't let us fly over Spain. They won't let us fly over France or use their airports or whatever to get into where we need to go. We're not trying to bomb them. They won't even let us do that. They let United Airlines land, but they won't let our military. So the heck with them. I doesn't mean that we're walking away from NATO. We could walk away from what we're paying. They know we'll pay the bill, so they don't. And of course, England has half population Muslim now, and I'm not sure if that's a issue for them. But for goodness sakes, do they think Iran's going to ever protect them? I think we have to be strong. We don't want another North Korea, and that's what if you read some of the articles out right now, that's what it's about. We let North Korea lie, cheat, and steal for 20, 30 years, and now they can drop, in a few years, they're going to be able to get a nuclear bomb that hit the west coast of California.
I am shocked that you think this is going well in terms of how it's being conducted. I mean, he contradicted himself today. He was at the dais saying we can completely control their airspace. But I'm here to tell you about how we plucked out a pilot who was shot down. But we completely dominate their airspace. But I'm here to tell you about a pilot who was shot down, along with another A-10 that was also shot down, and a couple of helicopters that got shot down. But we completely dominate their airspace. I mean, come on.
Was World War II run perfectly, and did we end up winning?
Oh my God, Kathy, you're not comparing how he's running this to the way Dwight Eisenhower ran World War
They had
II.
mistakes that happened as well. But we're doing with crazy people, crazy leadership. We don't even know leadership.
And that's
they
why
know
you
more
got.
than we know.
That's why you got to play it straight. You got to play it
But
straight.
not our media. I wouldn't spread secrets with our media. I wouldn't let them know our strategy.
Kathy Abernathy.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has expanded his threat against Iran to include all power plants and bridges as his Tuesday ultimatum approaches. This comes after Tehran on Monday rejected a 45-day ceasefire proposal demanding a permanent end to the war. Trump insists that Iran must open the Strait of Hormuz to all shipping traffic. A top Federal Reserve official said Monday that an interest rate hike could be appropriate if inflation remains persistently above the central bank's 2% target. The latest sign that some policymakers are moving away from a bias toward reducing borrowing costs. The comments by Beth Hammack, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, suggest a growing concern among at least some policymakers that inflation, which was elevated before the Iran war, may require rate hikes.
Yes.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A shooting incident on Half Dome Way. 4 people are in the hospital and 4 people are under arrest, say Bakersfield police. That went down just before 5 Sunday afternoon and started with a neighborhood argument. 2 people inside a house ended up shot and 2 people outside were hurt too. Police arrested 4 people. No names have been made public. 66-year-old Michael Moore, convicted of holding up the Union Bank on Oswell Road in 2000, will be getting out of prison after serving a little over half of his 50-year-to-life sentence early next year. The state parole board says he's no longer a threat. This was his 3rd time in prison for bank robbery. Gas is at $5.88 on average. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his long-standing and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Ellie, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk water with the CEO of SJVwater.org. Between the drought and the fire season, we'll get into all of that. We'll check in on Artemis 2. We got news, we got traffic, we got weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. You love and understand.
This is the problem that I have with the Republican Party. That there is no true self-analysis. You know what I'm saying? If Trump says it's going good, it's going good. Of course, the military aspect of Epic Fury is going well. It's the United States versus Texas. Iran is a little bigger than Texas. So I mean, it's like a man fighting a woman. But it's how you go about the fight that matters. And to say that this thing is being waged well is another form of Trump-tophoria. It really is. Because gas is $1.10 a barrel. It's just now beginning to impact airfare. All of the major airlines have upped their, you know how they're getting it back? They're upping their, they haven't messed with ticket prices yet, but they've almost all of them to an airline have upped their baggage fees. So if it was $40, it's now $50. That's how they're going to get you. And with no end in sight and a deadline that's looming for tomorrow and another deadline, what do you say, 2 weeks? 2 weeks we're going to be out of this thing, right? Anybody believe that? Is there anybody that hears my voice that thinks that the fighting in Iran will stop 2 weeks from today? Because that's what the president said. 2-3 weeks. Anybody? Bueller? Anybody out there buy that? Because I do not. And what have I said since February 1? You've got to play this straight. You can't get caught in lies or misstatements or having your word not be your bond. And I'm putting my prognostication ability on the line. I'm telling you right now, there's no deadline tomorrow. There's no bombing that begins tomorrow during our broadcast because the deadline is 5 p.m. Pacific time. So the bombing is supposed to start at the end of our show tomorrow. I guarantee you that's not going to happen. But somebody in this White House will tackle him before they let him commit an international war crime. And Republicans can dance around it if they want. But go ahead and let him take out their desalination plant. Let him go ahead and take out their power and see if everybody in that region doesn't turn on us, including the Iranian people. Remember, I was the one that applauded the president for not doing that at the outset and trying to stave off Benjamin Netanyahu from doing this because we want to be the good guys in this thing. We want to eradicate the power and help the people. But the president addressed that today. There's no helping them. There are no arms. He alluded to the fact that we tried to get arms in. Yeah, how'd that go? That didn't go very well. I just think this thing is just an absolute blunder that they're figuring out as the days go on, that there's no overall plan. And, you know, our military might is obvious. Our military capability is obvious. The fact that we plucked this guy out of the mountains of Iran is, I mean, some of you know a little bit about the military and you know just how miraculous it is. Absolutely miraculous that we found this guy. But to say that this thing's being waged well is okay. As if we can impact global gas prices. Today, the president talked about, they asked him, you know, because the Iranians are talking about having a toll the Strait of Hormuz. And the president said, oh, I thought you were talking about us because we might have a toll. So now he's talking about the United States controlling the Strait of Hormuz when last week he was telling NATO, go get your own oil. And this move away from NATO she's right. The one thing that Kathy said that I agreed with is, and this was my point with Howard Marcus, we are NATO. She's absolutely right. We are NATO. And what that means is we are what separates Russia from rolling through Western Europe. And if we turn our back on our Western allies for the first time in American history, he will roll through Western Europe. Nobody would have thought he would have gotten into Ukraine. When he was on the border, nobody thought he would go through Ukraine. But now that this thing is cracking, and what happens with Taiwan? What happens if Xi puts up a blockade with Taiwan? What are we going to do? That's what did Hitler in, two fronts. Hitler tried to take on the Germans and the Russians. What if Taiwan represents a whole new front for our military? Just asking simple questions that are incredibly possible. 842-5376, 842-KERN. You got anything?
Yeah, I got to come here.
We got
SAM equals surface air missile. Oh, I'm sorry. This pairs to the one I think of a couple before that. Give me 1 second. He's not contradicting himself. We do demonstrate their airspace. A couple SAM strikes out of the pickup truck do not mean that we do not control these skies.
Well, it's it's hypocritical to say we control their skies when they have heat-seeking missiles. That's not control. When they can knock down an F-15, and we're refueling over Iran, and you really think there's a nuanced position in terms of controlling their airspace when they're knocking down F-15s and A-10s and shooting up helicopters? You all do understand we got ridiculously lucky. Like, this is like ball lodging in the base of the wall, Game 6 World Series stuff. We got ridiculously lucky that they didn't get their hands on this colonel, that he's not blindfolded and being dragged through the streets, figuratively speaking, of Iran, or literally speaking. We got extremely lucky. But it is incredibly hypocritical to say we control their airspace, except for their heat seeking missiles. Other than that, we're good. Because they can just knock down an F-15, so it's not that big a deal. Good googly moogly. Who you got?
Baines is on.
Baines, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Ralph, we absolutely control their airspace. They don't have any airplanes. We got rid of them. I mean, I'll give you, you're right. You're right on this space part. 10,000 miles, 47 years is insignificant. That said, it's absolutely fabulous that Donald Trump is claiming that we'll have people on the moon in 2 years. I mean, JFK did that. It created a whole new thing. But we've got to control that airspace and space before China or somebody else does. You're absolutely wrong that Trump doesn't know what he's doing tomorrow or the next day or the day after. General Kane, you think Raising Kane and his director reports don't have a plan for the next 7,
so what's
30, 60, 30, 70, 60, 90? They've got plans in every theater.
What is the plan? What is the plan?
Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland, they're ready for it all.
All right, tell me when I can talk.
Military in the world. I will when I stop. They have.
Hang up on him. He's going to tell me what's going to happen on my show. No, that's not going to work, Baines. That's not going to work. And if you had shut up, I would have asked you the question, what's the strategy with the Strait of Hormuz then? Since he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. We plotted this out. What is the plan for the Strait of Hormuz? If you weren't screaming and yelling and trying to manipulate the conversation, I would have talked to you about it. And I would have asked you that and stumped you because there is no plan. First, it was Western Europe, go get your own oil. I can read it to you. I can read from his Truth Social, where he said, go get your own oil. Then we were going to escort tankers through. Now he says we're gonna have a toll. We're gonna control the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know what you paid for gas today, Baines, but I'm pretty sure it's about $1.50, maybe $2 more than you did 2 months ago. And if there's a plan, then what is it? What's the plan? What's the exit strategy? We're going to be out in 2 or 3 weeks, really? After accomplishing what? I'm confused here. I don't understand. But since you know that the president knows what he's doing, I wish you'd break it down for us, because I don't have a clue. And the Iranians have never been richer. They have never made the kind of money they're making on oil that they're making right now. Never. Never. China's happy. Their ships are getting through. They're not targeting Chinese ships. Russia's incredibly happy. NATO is breaking down. That makes Vladimir extremely happy, as you all know. Why do you think Vladimir didn't want Ukraine ever? Part of the negotiation was that Ukraine would never, ever be part of NATO. One would think y'all would use your brains and realize that anything that Vladimir wants, we probably don't want. I'm just throwing that out there. Rarely are we on the same side with Vladimir Putin that NATO should go away, because he's all in favor of that. It's been in all the papers. I don't know if you know that. He's all in favor of that position, Howard, Kathy. He's all in favor of that. So if you guys want to break it up, you get on that Vladimir Putin team, because he's dancing through the streets that NATO could be coming to an end. And I wonder why that is. I wonder. Well, I can't figure it out. One more. Let's take a break.
Vincent Delano, remember the movie 300? Who did they fight and where are they now?
I saw 300 with a new girlfriend trying to be that guy.
In the theaters? Or
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't remember one. I remember no.
I remember one scene, but it's just because it's the most iconic scene of the entire movie when he kicks the guy down the hole.
Yeah, that's about all I remember.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't remember much of it either.
And it's, it's weird. Just, this is my life. The former girlfriend, who I went to see 300 with, just to be that guy, out of nowhere, called me this weekend. Isn't that crazy?
It's a little crazy.
Tyra called me out of nowhere.
For what reason?
Let's do dinner sometime. I just moved downtown. We're neighbors. Let's do dinner sometime. Isn't that crazy? Crazy Tyra. Crazy Tyra.
Full circle moments.
I'm just, no. Just
name drop her too.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
And use the word. Never mind.
Crazy Tyra. She is cray cray. She used to she used to work at Buckley. She used to be a sales exec. That's where we met, at Buckley Radio. She is now happily divorced. And
calling you?
No. She was bored. Let's go ahead and take a break. Why do you get me into this?
You started it. I just brought up a text message about 300.
Coming up, we'll get you caught up on Artemis 2 as it breaks the Apollo 13 record, going faster, farther. Not further, but farther. Farther is distance. Further is an idea. He took the company further. He hit the ball farther. Former copy editor, sorry. Then we'll talk a little sports in the 5 o'clock hour. The Dodgers sweep the Washington Nats. They were down 6-1. And what is so fun about this ball club is I was watching it when they were down 6-1, and it was early. And I was like, we'll scare them at least. We may not win, but we're going to score some runs. And then our backup catcher hit a 2-run home run. That made it 6-3. And then I was like, okay, we're going to win now. We're definitely going to win now. And we loaded the bases. Shohei got a little base knock. Everybody got a little base knock. Andy Paez just keeps tearing the cover off the baseball. He and Teo really are the only ones hitting. Shohei's now in the 270s. Freddie's like in the 250s. Batting average is starting to come up, but they're in Toronto playing as we speak, as a matter of fact. Game started at 4 o'clock. Forgot about that. Quick timeout. Not a lot of time before we get to the top of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1.
Messmaker. Tuesday edition, Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show. We're joined by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to discuss all of the moves that he has made so far in Trump 2.0, and we'll continue to follow the fallout of President Trump's big address surrounding Iran. He's given them a deadline where he says he will unleash all of America's armaments and might. Very newsworthy edition of the Tuesday Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Every Thursday at 4:30, Daniel Petrie lightens up the broadcast with his incredible wit, pure intelligence, political knowledge, and obviously an absolute master of economics. That's why he's such an important cog on this broadcast. And you can hear him even on some of his off days when there are financial movements that we can't explain. We lean on my man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And of course, you know what they're all about. They're all about retirement. I've turned at least 3 or 4 different people on to Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors, and they could not be happier. You could be happy as well with your situation in terms of the fourth quarter in your life if you call 395-9400, 395-9400, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-1509 or biglou.com.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Don't play me pinball.
So Artemis 2 is coming home. They have flipped around the moon. All is well. The scary 40 to 45 minute blackout where they are completely out of communication with Cape Canaveral, where they're on the dark side of the moon, where they witnessed the solar eclipse, where no one has ever seen before, because nobody's been on that side of the moon where you've seen the Earth in between the sun. Nobody's ever seen that before. They've seen things that no human has ever seen. They've gone places no human has ever gone. They made the circle. They've gone farther than the Apollo 13 mission in 1970 with Jim Lovell and that three-man crew that had some problems. It was expected to land on the moon, but did not. But they are speeding their way back to Earth. It'll take them about 4 days, and they are splashing down here in Southern California, down by San Diego, is my understanding. The crew now has about an hour-long break before they're tasked with observing an eclipse. That's already happened. As the Orion capsule came back around from the far side of the moon, NASA said it had a good signal coming from the spacecraft. The crew took a few moments to take more photos of Earth rise before getting back in touch with Houston. And now the Orion capsule has reemerged from the moon and is now in contact with NASA and is headed back to San Diego, apparently. They reached their maximum distance from the Earth, 252,756,000 miles, the farthest any humans ever been from Earth, 1,100 miles beyond where the Apollo 13 crew got in 1970, according to NASA. And the 5-day, 25-minute, 34-second after launch, the Orion capsule was approximately 4,000 miles above the moon. That's the closest it will get to the moon, because remember, this is a trial run, essentially. This is a trial run for Artemis 3 and Artemis 4, which will be landing on the moon in 27 and 28 and trying to set up a permanent base for our departure for Mars and even further into space. It takes 7 months to get to Mars, I believe. Please stand by, because I have this charted out. I really do. I've been geeking out on this stuff for a while, and it takes. Please stand by. Don't go anywhere.
I have here 7 to 10
months.
Yes.
Yeah. Presidents. Yeah. Here we go. It takes. Please stand by. It takes 7 months to Mars, 5 months to Mercury, 4 months to Venus, but you don't want to go that way. That's close to the sun. You want to go that way. You don't want to go that way. 1.2 years to get to Saturn, and Jupiter is the farthest planet away, and that would take you some 6 years to get to Jupiter, which is not Jupiter. Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet. That is our defender. Did you know that? I did not know that till this whole moon thing. That Jupiter defends us from meteorites because it's so gargantuan. And if it weren't for Jupiter, we would be smashed into bits, apparently. I'm just telling you what I've heard on television. I have no idea what I'm talking about. We'll head into the 5. We'll talk a little sports. You'll hear Vince Vaughn on high-speed rail. And we'll talk more about the UCLA victory. They got their first NCAA championship as women. Yes, they won a championship in 1978 led by Ann Myers, the widow of Don Drysdale. But the NCAA, as we talked about at the top of the show, did not recognize women's sports. They did not recognize women's basketball. When UCLA won it all in 78, led by Ann Myers, sister of Dave Myers and widow of Don Drysdale, they didn't recognize them. So officially, this is the women's UCLA first NCAA championship.
9 more to go.
You imagine the pressure on those ladies?
No kidding.
Because, I mean, how many NCAA championships are on those walls?
10.
No, I mean, period, sports.
I'm sorry, period? Okay.
No, it's got to be in the hundreds.
I thought we were just talking with women.
No, it's got to be in the hundreds. And to have to go by there and see tennis NCAA champion, water polo NCAA champion, volleyball NCAA champion, basketball, multiple NCAA champion. No women. No women basketball. Well, they got it done. They got it done. Who was the Miami Heat whose sister's on the team? He's a UCLA grad.
Ooh.
The guy with the headband. Joaquin.
I'm honestly drawing the blank right now. Oh, wait. Vasquez.
Vasquez.
Javi. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the big man.
Yeah. His sister had 21 points, led the Bruins. Quick timeout. Head into the 5. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
Show me the women's
President
UCLA
Trump has
roster.
given Iran a Tuesday night ultimatum to open the Strait of Hormuz to all shipping traffic. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president warns Iranian leaders that the U.S. military can unleash extensive damage in just a few hours.
The entire country could be taken out in one night.
He's giving Iran a Tuesday deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern.
And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants.
The president said he was not at all concerned about accusations of war crimes. Greg Clugston, Washington.
An analysis of avalanche experts questions decisions by guides on a deadly California backcountry trip.
It was the deadliest avalanche in modern California history. Now an investigation finds the 9 backcountry skiers killed February 17th were being guided through dangerous terrain when safer routes were available. It also says the group was large enough to increase the risk of being caught in a deadly slide. The report by Sierra Avalanche Center questions decisions by Blackbird Mountain Guides and says the group was traveling beneath an avalanche path after intense snowfall. Blackbird says the report does not reflect the full scope of what transpired and does not include all of the facts and information currently under review. I'm Julie Walker.
Savannah Guthrie has returned to NBC's Today Show anchor desk for the first time since her mother's disappearance more than 2 months ago.
Oh, we got to play that
said
too.
It's good to be home. She also says it's hard to go forward not knowing what happened to her mother.
Did you see
on Wall Street, that out by 165 points. The Nasdaq rose 117. The S&P 500 advanced 29. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bill. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
4 people arrested in a Bakersfield shooting. I'm Chris Davis. As many as 4 people were also hurt in that incident, which was Sunday afternoon on Half Dome Way, which is in South Bakersfield near White Lane and Hughes Lane, says Bakersfield PD. It was about 10 minutes before 5 when the shooting started, but the arguments that led up to it started before that. A couple of people who were inside a house had gunshot wounds, and police say that a juvenile and an adult outside were also hurt and had to be taken to the hospital. That all led to a standoff with police, but that is all over. Police have not yet made any names public. Some long-term closures are about to start on Interstate 5, so if you go that way near Grapevine, you should be aware that starts tonight with some short-term closures, and it'll be overnight tonight and tomorrow night. That'll be the outside lanes, both directions near Lebec Road Crossing. The long-term 24/7 closures start Wednesday night in the same area and will last through May. A man who did 25 years of a 50-year to life sentence for bank robbery will be getting out of prison early. It was October 24th, 2000, when Michael Moore, now 66, held up the Union Bank on Oswald Street in Bakersfield. He got away with $6,000 and was caught quickly. He was convicted the next year and sent to prison for the third time. Now the state parole board says he's no longer a threat and he'll get out in early 2027. If you've been keeping up closely with gas prices, the talk of both a ceasefire with Iran and the talk of blowing up more of their infrastructure have not affected prices in California over the past couple of days, and the state average for a gallon of regular is still at $5.88, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, 6th day of April. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on 96.1 and streaming live at KERNradio.com and broadcasting live on YouTube. Lots to do in the final hour. I want to hear from you guys. Our phone number is 842-5376, 842-KERN. Do you all really think this thing is going well? Do you really? You got to walk me through this, how this is going well. I mean, obviously, we can out-militarize a country that's the size of Texas. We knew that going in. God help us if we can't dominate a country the size of Texas. God help us. But you really think this is being waged well? You really think that there is a plan? That it's like a 5-paragraph essay, that there's an outline that they are following, that Hegseth is going, okay, we've checked off this, we've checked off that. I really want to hear from you guys. I don't want to hear from Baines because he doesn't know how to speak to me in a fashion that is civil. Nobody's going to yell at me. Let's make that clear. You call the show and you're screaming, you're done. I get to make the rules. It's just the way the TI is. If you don't like it, go listen to somebody else. I couldn't possibly care less. But I want to hear you build the argument that this is going well. I want to hear you tell me that we control their airspace and yet they damn near captured a colonel in our military. That just doesn't seem to jibe with me. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying I control the fight, but the guy knocked me down to the ground. Huh? And if they can knock down an F-15, what are they going to do to A-120s? What are they going to do to C-120s? What are they going to do to fueling planes? I just don't see it. I don't see it. Of course, the military aspect is going well. It's Iran, for God's sakes. We're the United States of America. Duh. But to say that it's going well, did you see what the president wrote over the weekend? Just opening up the effing straight? That sounds like a guy that's got a 5-paragraph essay outline broken down on how this thing's going to. He's cursing at the Iranians. He's giving profane-laden threats to the Iranians. So if Baines is right and I'm wrong, then this deadline is going to occur during our broadcast tomorrow. And I'm going to be wrong, right? I'm going to be wrong. That at 5:01, the bombing starts in Iran. It ain't gonna happen. By some way, by some maneuvering, they'll extend the deadline. They'll say negotiations are going well with a nation of leaders who want to wipe us off the face of the earth. There's no negotiate. You can't negotiate. It's like negotiating with a guy who wants to kill his wife and he's got the gun to her head. The only thing you can do is kill him. He doesn't give a damn about this woman. You can't negotiate with leaders in the name of the citizens when the leaders don't give a damn about the citizens. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't threaten, we're going to put you in the dark and we're going to hurt all your people when the leaders don't give a damn about the people. There's no leverage there. So walk me through how this thing is going well. We can't get a tanker through the Strait of Hormuz, but James and Kathy think that this thing is going swimmingly. Gas is $6 a gallon, but it's going well. And it's going to get up to, what, $1.30 a barrel, $1.50? But it's going well. You got to walk me through it. Because beyond the military, I would think militarily it's going well. I would pray to God that on a Sunday we could wake up and dominate a country like Iran. That's not the $64,000 question. The $64,000 question is, when we leave, will they still have the uranium? Will they still have the ability to do what the president told us 6 months ago they weren't going to be able to do? Because 6 months ago, he told us we had obliterated their nuclear infrastructure. And now here we are again with men potentially caught in Iran trying to get rid of their nuclear infrastructure. I'm confused. That's why I'm asking you all to either text or call the show and explain it to me. Have a conversation with me. Don't do the bangs. Just come in here screaming and yelling at people. Have a civil conversation to me. Prove me that I'm right. Wrong. Prove that I'm wrong. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
I just got some text messages, but first one just says, congratulations to the Lady Bruins. Only 10 more to match the men's program.
Yeah, I still think John Wooden is the greatest basketball coach in the history of, and I was just starting to move over to Gino. I really was. He's been in 25 finals. He's won 12. They were 57-0 or some nonsense. I mean, he's got it going on, but he did something John Wooden would never do, and that's show his ass. I'll get to it in a second. We'll get to the audio, but he lost his mind. And I guess when you win like that, you just expect to win, and when you don't win, there's just a void. But, I remember sitting in my room in Ladera Heights crying like a little boy when Notre Dame knocked us off and ended UCLA's, I think, 88 or 89 game winning streak. And I didn't see John Wooden complaining about the refereeing or any activity that the other coach was doing. It was just a class act. And Gino Auriemma is a lot of things, but he's not a class act. And I'm sorry, you know me, I see life through race. I don't think he does that to Kim. What's her name? Who's the LSU coach? Kim Malarkey or whatever her name is?
Yes, so something like that.
He wouldn't do that to her. He wouldn't have done that to Pat Summit. He wouldn't have done that to a prominent white coach. But he did that to Dawn Staley, that she didn't shake his hand before the game. And then you don't go through the line and shake the hands of the players. Screw Dawn Staley. Okay, you and Dawn Staley have a problem. But you are a teacher. You are a coach, Gino, and you had a responsibility to tell the lady Gamecocks that they played well, that they beat your team, and they were the better club. And instead, you cursed her out, turned tail, and went back to the locker room without shaking the hands of those other women. If one of your players did that, you would find them. They'd be running. But you can do that because you're Gino. You're Gino Auriemma, and you're the big man. Well, you just blew your whole legacy. Your absolute whole. In fact, let's play it right now. This was during the game, and I can't stand these in-game interviews. But this was because I keep forgetting this. There's a difference between the women's and the men's game. The men play 2 20-minute halves. The women play quarters. The women actually play quarters because I watched the whole game, and it was the end of the third quarter. I thought it was the end of the game, and I was like, she's leaving in her starters with 20 seconds left. They're up by 30, but it was the end of the third quarter. And they interviewed Gino in the middle of the game. Here's what he had to say.
Kind of wild turn of events. Sarah Strong's jersey is split right down the middle. I saw you speaking to the refs about it. What message did you try to convey?
Right. There were 6 fouls called that quarter, all of them against us. And they've been beating our guys down there the entire game. And I'm not making excuses because we haven't been able to make a shot. But this is ridiculous. Their coach rants and raves on the sideline and calls the referee some names you don't want to hear. And now we get 6-0, and I got a kid with a ripped jersey, and they go, I didn't see it. Come on, man. This is for the national championship.
Okay, first of all, that's a lie. His own player ripped her own jersey, as she admitted during the press conference. B, you just criticized Dawn Staley for her vocabulary with officials, and you just cursed on national television. In the middle of a game on national television where young children are watching, you just cursed. And yet you're complaining about Dawn Staley. I think your boy's got a little boogity in him personally. I think this is, I honestly think that he doesn't do this to a white coach. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I know you're not going to be with me on this, and that's fine. It's, we look at life through different lenses, but there's no way he does that to a white coach. And he picks on Dawn Staley, and she whooped his ass. And now you're just a sore loser who was going to go out higher than John Wooden. But no. No. You're just a good coach, Gino. You're not a great coach. You showed your ass. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we'll read some more text messages. Maybe somebody can explain to me how Epic Fury is being waged well beyond the military aspect of it. There is an alleged 5 p.m. deadline tomorrow. I have told you, not going to happen. The bombs are supposed to start flying at 5:01. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if an idiot radio talk show host in Bakersfield can read the tea leaves and tell you what this administration is going to do, I'm pretty sure the Iranians have figured it out as well. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. We'll check the board. Bottom of the hour. Talk a little Dodger baseball. Don't tell me anything, Chris. I'm DVRing it. You know I'm going to peek.
I honestly haven't even looked yet, but I will now.
Dodgers, Blue Jays. Dodgers are now 7-2 in a division where we're the only team above 500. We're the only team in the West above 500. God. And we were down 6-1. We came back and won 8-6. And what is the big champion out of that victory?
I honestly didn't get to catch a lot of
the bullpen.
Oh.
We were down 6-1 in like the third, and they didn't score again. Our bullpen came in and was lights out. Diaz came in and got the save again. Do you know who came in and got some outs? I am not making this up. Tanner Scott.
I had a feeling.
Tanner Scott came in for one inning and got 3 outs. Granted, there was a ball hit to the track, but I'll give him a pass. But he got 3 outs. Tanner Scott, 66. I'm not making that up. Oh, it's going to be a good year. We only got 2 more losses, though. We're going to go 158-4. We only got 2 more losses. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM.
Adaptive.
Armstrong and Getty Show, another day, another deadline, but I think this one might be serious. We'll have all the very latest.
And let's talk about the U.S.-Europe alliance. What does the current conflict with Iran show us? It's a bit of a stress test, and it's not going well. Plus, what's with all the defeatists who are rooting for America to do poorly in this battle? On the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Are you a business owner and you're not very concerned about your IT content? Well, you should be, because there are scammers out there that'll get your content, and hold it hostage or release it to your rivals. That's why we here at American General Media depend on Adaptive Networks for all of our IT needs. Call them today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638, or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. That's a real deal where they will come in, steal your content, and then tell you for X amount of dollars, they'll give it back to you, or they're going to give it to your rivals. That's why you've got to hook up with Adaptive Networks. They're steady, they're secure, they know what they're doing. That's why we depend on them. As I've talked about, a radio station relies on their IT. We need a company that's not going to call and say, we'll be there tomorrow, we'll be there on Monday. No, we need the folks at Adaptive Networks, and so do you. Call them today at 661-241-0638, or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
We all start as tiny seeds, needing care, love, and a little sunlight. Then, boom, we sprout, stretch, and grow through the world of childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kern County Public Health and thrive like a poppy. Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
Experience the Bakersfield Symphony, The Great Classics, Saturday, April 11th at Dignity Health Theater. The evening begins with Don Giovanni Overture by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. From there, Florence Price's Andante Moderato offers a moment of lyrical warmth, showcasing her rich, expressive voice through the lush sound of the string orchestra. The program concludes with Joseph Haydn's Triumphant Symphony No. 104, London, a joyful and spirited finale that reflects the wit, brilliance, and grandeur. These classical favorites are brought to life by the Bakersfield Symphony Orchestra. For more info, go to bsonow.org.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
I'm going down to shoot my old lady. You know, I kind of mess around with another man.
842-537-6842-KERN. Let's check the board. What do you got?
Ralph, F-15s and A-10s are aircraft that are more than 50 years old. They are not the most stealthy things on the earth.
An F-15? I didn't say it was stealthy, but it's pretty damn hard to hit. And they hit it. Isn't that safe to say? And you have control of something or you don't. There's no, like, I'm a little bit pregnant. You can't say that we control their airspace and we just got shot down. Twice. And 2 helicopters got shot up. You either control it or you don't. There's no, like, in between. There's no nuance. You know what I'm saying? Well, we control it, but they still have shoulder projected missiles. Well, then we don't control it. If American troops can die in the air, we do not control their airspace. Am I wrong about that? Because if I'm a pilot and I get shot down, I'm like, to hell with controlling the airspace. I just got shot down. I'm injured and I'm in the mountains of Iran waiting to be picked up, but we control their airspace. Tell it to the colonel who was up in those mountains for 48 hours that we control their airspace. Tell him that. Tell the pilot that managed to get the plane to Kuwait and then managed I forget what they call it, a manageable landing or something, where the plane went down in Kuwait. Or what about the two planes that we couldn't get out of the sand? Thank God we had a contingency plan, but we are ridiculously lucky. And you all are not willing to admit that because it's all about Trump. It's not about the party anymore. It's not about the direction of the party. It's not about the midterm. It's not about 2029. It's all about Trump. And we live in a community where there are people that if Trump said, open up the effing Strait of Hormuz, y'all be like, that's cool. Oh, wait a minute, he did do that. Yeah, and y'all said, yeah, that's cool. He's cursing at one of our rivals. The leader of the free world, the president of the United States, open up the effing Strait of Hormuz. But it's going really well. I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable. And to come back with, well, militarily it's going well. Well, I would think so. We are the United States of America, and they're Iran. United States, Iran. And we're really like celebrating that we're dominating Texas. It's not even the size of Alaska. And we're dominating it. And you got Baines and people, Caddy, yeah, boy. Oh, we're killing them. You think? Of course we are. Now tell me how we get out. Tell me what victory looks like. Where are we 3 months from now? Where are we if another F-15 gets shot down and we're not fortunate enough to pluck him out of Iran and the Iranians get a hold of one of our pilots? Then where are we? And does anybody think that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open at 5:01 tomorrow afternoon? Am I just selling wolf tickets that I'm calling the president's bluff on his so-called deadline? How could I possibly be right? I'm an idiot talk show host, and I'm calling the shots of the war. I'm telling you what's about to happen. That can't happen. That can't be. That an idiot in Bakersfield can tell that the president is totally bluffing about this deadline and about committing a war crime? Go ahead. See what happens. Because I'm telling you, if he goes ahead and does this, there will be impeachment proceedings, and there is an opportunity for him to be removed. There is a schism within the party. John Thune isn't happy with him. Mike Johnson isn't happy with him. They can't say that out loud. It'd be like being a Russian and saying something bad about Vladimir Putin. That's what kind of control Donald Trump has over the Republican Party. And if you say anything to analyze or criticize this, you get screamed at by some guy I don't even know. When you're just analyzing the war objectively and saying either you control the airspace or you don't. It's not like, well, we kind of do, but we kind of still can get shot down, but we kind of control. Well, no. Either do or you don't. And we don't. Go ask the colonel what he thinks. Do they control the airspace? Just saying. One more, and let's get to the bottom of the hour.
Europe has more stocks and bonds than even China. If they stood up to Donald Trump and his family, that might change the behavior and acceptance of the United States, allowing Donald to attack other countries. Trump is the Putin of his hemisphere.
Well, I don't know about the Putin of his hemisphere. I mean, Cuba, we'd be doing Cuba a favor if we were to take over in Cuba. I mean, they've been underneath the thumb of communism since before I was even born. We did Venezuela solid by getting rid of Maduro. I suppose in 2 or 3 weeks we can pull out and claim victory. I just don't know what that looks like. Do we leave the Iranians with their uranium? Does Israel continue to wage a war against the Iranians when we stop? Is this 2-3 week deadline that the president set down? Has he talked that over with Benjamin Netanyahu? Because he certainly didn't talk about the war with any of our allies. So why would he talk to Benjamin Netanyahu? Last half hour of the broadcast, it's TRBS on a Monday. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us on news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he's not at all concerned about committing possible war crimes as he threatens the destruction of Iran's bridges and power plants if they don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The president refused to say whether any civilian targets would be off limits if Iran doesn't meet its Tuesday 8 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. The Artemis 2 astronauts are sailing through their record-breaking trip around the moon that's already providing unprecedented views of the far side. Monday's lunar journey comes after the 3 Americans and 1 Canadian broke Apollo 13's distance record, the farthest that humans have ever traveled from Earth. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 165 points. The S&P advanced 29. More details at SLNnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. Overnight closures begin tonight on Interstate 5 near the Lebec Road crossing area near Grapevine. Caltrans says that'll be tonight and tomorrow night, and the lanes closed will be the outside lanes. Then, starting Wednesday night, long-term closures of those lanes will be 24/7 through May as they put in crossover lanes. 4 people have been arrested and 4 people are also being treated after a shooting incident that began with a neighborhood argument Sunday afternoon just before 5. Bakersfield PD says that was on Half Dome Way, which is near White Lane in South Bakersfield. Some of the people involved were juveniles. No names have been released. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food, like that morning status meeting, always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some Power Bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk water with the CEO of SJVwater.org. Between the drought and the fire season, we'll get into all of that. We'll check in on Artemis 2. We got news, we got traffic, we got weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What time does the game
The
start?
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and
Huskies set to get underway in about 20 minutes. And I did not know that Michigan is a 6.5 point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to make a phone call.
Don't you do this.
I might have to put, I want a bill. I chickened out because my betting partner bet 2 bills. He said, let's split 5. And I go, I'm not putting $250 on UCLA. I'll put a bill. That's about as he says, come on, let's split $250. I was like, I ain't doing it, man. I'm sorry. And I'm flush right now too. What, we just get paid yesterday?
Yeah,
today?
about 2 days ago.
Yeah. And I only put a bill on it. I was so mad, especially when they were up like 30 in the third quarter.
Who are you thinking about putting it down on?
Taking UConn in the 6.5. You think Michigan's going to blow them out?
No. I have UConn winning this thing. That's why I'm saying, damn, because it's you.
Well, I mean, you can't put it on me if Michigan beats UConn. Come on.
Hurley is 11-0.
They're 6.5 point favorites.
Hurley is 11-0 against the spread. Sweet 16 on. He's 18-1 since 2023. Don't you do this to me.
I gotta. See, now you got me feeling bad because if I bet it and they lose by 7, everybody and their mama's gonna blame the mush.
Absolutely. That's right. We should.
I'll stay. You want me to stay away from it? I'll stay away.
It's up to you.
I'll take my hoodie and run.
It's up to you. You just won, so I mean, if you just won, you might as well. I'm just giving you grief about it.
Because if I don't pick it up by tomorrow, I can't pick it up till next Tuesday, which will be the eve of me going to Dodger Stadium.
True.
So it'd be nice to have a little chump change in my pocket.
Speaking, I'm going to have to talk to you about that. Are we having a guest host?
Yes, Kathy Abernathy's filling in. Teresa's making her swan song next week.
Really?
Yeah. She's going to be gone for like 3 weeks.
Oh.
She's off to Beijing and Hong Kong.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then back to Beijing. And then back to Hong Kong. And then where else are they going? South Korea. They're going like all over.
There was one more right after Hong Kong and then back to the U.S. But
Japan.
I don't know where it was.
I think Japan.
Is it Japan?
I think they're going to Japan. In fact, she sent me the itinerary, as a matter of fact. Just rubbing it in. Just absolutely rubbing it in.
I mean, this is what happens when you go into law and you get paid like lawyers and judges, and yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this thing. She sent me the map. You see that?
He has a whole map.
Oh yeah. She sent me the map. Okay, so they're going to start. They're going to be in Beijing. Wait, where's one? She's got it mapped out because they're going to start in Japan. I assume that's Tokyo. Then they're going to Osaka. Then from Osaka, they're going to Beijing. Then they're going to some city I can't read. And then they're going all over China. Then they're going to Shanghai. Then they're going to Hong Kong. And then I think they're going back to Japan. And then they fly out of Japan. So she's going to be gone for 3 weeks.
How do people?
Well, didn't you hear when she told us she was going? And I said, you're spending on a vacation what I make in a year.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Because this is going to, this trip for 2 people.
Airfare alone.
Airfare and a week and a half in Japan and Hong Kong.
Having a place to stay each time.
And Teresa Golder on a shopping spree. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wait till she gets into one of those, like, those places where they just sell junk. You know what I'm saying? Just like touristy junk. I bet they spend 6 figures on this damn trip. Wouldn't that be nice?
Nice to be able to retire, but you know,
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to crunch the numbers. I'm just not quite there yet because when you make that move, you got to make that move. You know what I mean? There's no turning back. There's no like, Mr. Brandon, I was just kidding. I'd like to come back and out of retirement. No. I've done that kind of once. It's an inside joke, but I've thought about it. I've crunched the numbers, and I'm close I'm close, but not quite. Not quite. Plus, I think when I like retire, I think I'm off to SC. I think I've got to stay in California until my mom passes, and then I think I'm off to South Carolina.
You guys have land out there anyway, so
We have some property out there. I talked to my uncle. I told you, I don't know if I told you guys this. My uncle made me executor of his will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is saying a lot. He's got two knucklehead sons that I don't know if I talked about this when I got back. I went down to Beaufort about 5 or 6 years ago, and I almost got in a fight with my cousin because my Uncle Irvin is like a second dad to me. I lived with my Uncle Irvin at a really, really low period in my life when my parents were just grief-stricken by the fact that I couldn't finish college. Just absolutely devastated. They never saw that happening. Just me not, after 4 years, having enough units to be a sophomore. They never saw that coming. They never, ever saw that coming. Because I was a decent high school student, but I had the one thing over my head at Buckley and Brentwood that I didn't have at Morehouse, and that was sports. The only thing that made me a decent student, the only reason I studied was to stay eligible. To be honest with you, just in case you've got a teenager coming up that loves sports, it's a great way to motivate them. It really is. I've told you the story about how my dad, he did two major things that made me focus, and this was early. Like 7th and 8th grade, my parents were smart enough. They're like, who cares what kind of grades he gets in 7th and 8th grade? That's not going to get him into college, whether he's got straight A's or he's got straight F's. Who cares? But it was right around 9th grade that my parents started coming down on me. And I told you the story about how I had to quit my JV football team for 2 weeks because I got a bad progress report. And part of the progress report was my biology class, Dr. Yao, and that my father came and sat in on a class because I tried to play, not really the race card, but I tried to play the he doesn't like me card. That's why I'm getting a D in biology. And why did I say that? And this, you should try this. You really should. If your children ever give you my teacher doesn't like me, might play it like my dad did. Is that right? Well, we got to do something about this. I've got to see this in action. I'm going to come down to your classroom on Friday. And I was like, no, Dad. They won't let you. No. The parents aren't allowed to. Like, he said, all right, calm down. I'm going to come down to school. And if they don't want me in the class, I'll go back to work. But if he does, I want to see how this man is so mean to you. I want to see the interaction between you two. He said he doesn't like you. I want to see it firsthand. And of course, Dr. Yao threw me under the bus. About 5, 6, 7 minutes into the class, Dr. Yao goes, Dr. Bailey, it's so good to have you here because we're 8 minutes in, and by now Ralph would have told at least 2 Richard Pryor jokes. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Dad sat right behind me. I mean, right behind me, because I sat in the back row, the second to last back row. My dad sat in the back row behind me. And let me just end the story because it's way too long. I got a C+ in biology. Just saying. Just saying. And the only reason is because I had a progress report coming up, and I got a B on that next test. I got a B on the next test. That brought my D up to a C+. My dad shows up in the class, and I'm on the straight and narrow. I'm on the straight and narrow, and I just didn't have that at Morehouse. And getting back to my original story, this was the pivotal point in my life where my parents were just like, when I went to my dad and said, after I'd done really well at Long Beach State, and I just said, I'm not going to go to college. I want to do this without a college degree. And my parents were just like, well, do it on your own. And I said, that's okay. I got a place to live. I'm going to go live with your brother. My dad about fainted. And my uncle got me through that period. I was a waiter for a little bit, and then I got a job as a copy editor on the Sentinel, and then I got a job as a reporter. But the story I was trying to tell was the fact that my knucklehead cousin talks crap to his dad. And I was down in Beaufort. Man, we almost got into a fight. We were all in the kitchen, and he did something like straight out of a comedy bit. You know what I mean? Where out of nowhere, he's just like, screw you, Dad. I don't have to do that. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I know that's your dad, but that is my Uncle Irvin. I literally said this to him. I said, you don't speak to him like that. And if you're going to speak to him like that, you're not going to do it in front of me. And so there's obviously friction between his dad and Marcus, which is too bad. Because to make me the executor of the will, that ain't good. That ain't good. But we do own some property down in South Carolina, and I owned a house that they live in. My grandmother left it to me, and I think that's where I'm going to grow old, on 1010 North Street. Come see me if you're in Beaufort someday. I'm serious. Because a lot of people, I know a lot of guys, particularly the guys up at Bakersfield Country Club, there are a couple of guys that have property down in Hilton Head that go down there and play golf. And I know Lisa Kimball and her husband Craig have some property in South Carolina, not in the low country. I think they're like Pawleys Island or someplace. But South Carolina is a great, great recreational spot. They've got 398 golf courses. California has 68. And South Carolina is like a quarter the size of California. And they've got 398 golf courses. I bet there are at least a dozen golf courses on Hilton Head Island alone, literally. There are 3 golf courses at Sea Pines Harbortown Golf Links. 3 courses right there. Most of the hotels that are along the border of Hilton Head, along the ocean, they have 2 golf courses on their property. It's a pretty cool place. It really is. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the night. When we come back, we'll get into high-speed rail. You'll hear from Vince Fong, who was on 60 Minutes. In fact, he was the star of the 60 Minutes piece last night. Vince tearing apart the Ghost Train was the title of the piece, where they still don't know where they're going to get the money. The Trump administration has shut off the spigot. Sean Duffy, one of the few competent members of the Trump cabinet, transportation secretary, says we're not giving these guys another nickel. And yet they played the clip of Gavin Newsom when he was in Wasco talking about laying down tracks and how close we are and all. And yes, they said sarcastically, and now the train goes to downtown Bakersfield and to Merced. As if who in the world wants to go to Bakersfield or Merced? Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show. We're joined by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to discuss all of the moves that he has made so far in Trump 2.0. And we'll continue to follow the fallout of President Trump's big address surrounding Iran. He's given them a deadline where he says he will unleash all of America's armaments and might. Very newsworthy edition of the Tuesday Clay.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, and we're back. Here we are. Robin Bob from California Fruit Depot. We are going to make the nation's first complete AI commercial.
We are.
Yes, we're going to talk about we're open 95, 7 days days a week. We have great shakes. We have great staff. We have oranges, citrus, nuts, all locally grown. Lots of it, like all around. So here's version 1.
California Fruit Depot is located near Bakersfield, California, off the Highway 58. Open 7 days a week, 9 to 5. Top-rated staff, phenomenal shakes and smoothies, sweet citrus, locally grown nuts, and so much more. Rob and Bob, nationally syndicated, locally appreciated radio talents, are their spokespeople. Free lemons are available, free parking, and so much more.
And here's version 2.
Yeehaw! California Fruit Depot, located off Highway 58. Smoke them if you got them. Great staff, wonderful prices, shakes, smoothies, free lemons, free parking. Come one, come all. Open 7 days a week, 9 to 5. Closed most major holidays.
And for those of you in the 08,
AI is not something you cover with an eye patch. CalFruitDepot.com.
We all start as tiny seeds, needing care, love, and a little sunlight. Then, boom, we sprout, stretch, and grow through the world of childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kern County Public Health and thrive like a poppy. Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
You see the light come on, it's flashing at you, check your mileage, and yes, it's time for an oil change. Don't wait until your engine begs for help. Head to Kern Oil Change. Fast, friendly, and affordable service that keeps your car running smooth. No appointment needed. Just roll in, roll out, and drive with confidence. Plus, get free fluid top-off with every oil change. Kern Oil Change has 2 locations to serve you, 3706 Coffee Road and 5651 Auburn Street. Kern Oil Change is open 7 days a week. Get in, get out, get on with your day. Follow us on Instagram for additional savings.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Yeah, some call me the gangster of love. Eight 842-537-6842 KERN.
Here is just part of the piece last night on high-speed rail.
There, as we speak right now, are the funds there to complete LA to San Francisco?
The entire amount of money we need, not there today. But do we believe we can get those funds to get the project done? Absolutely.
How much do you estimate it's going to cost to connect high-speed rail San Francisco to LA?
Today, we estimate with the right optimization, just over $125 billion. I think $126 billion is the current estimate for that.
That's more funding than Amtrak has received in its history and still leaves a shortfall of roughly $90 billion. That's a big gap to fill.
It is a big gap to fill, but again, we have an understanding of how to get there and to fill that gap.
Again,
No, they don't. No, they don't. They're lying through their teeth. Absolutely lying through their teeth. Meantime, here is Congressman Vince Vaughn.
California high-speed rail nightmare is probably quintessential example of government waste and mismanagement.
You say this needs to stop.
Needs to stop.
Congressman Vince Vaughn, a Republican from Bakersfield, sits on the House Transportation Committee. He says that when California voters first approved high-speed rail, the promise and price tag were more marketing campaign than realistic projection.
We're now in 2026. There are no trains. There's no track laid. There's a complete bait and switch.
If I vote for a mansion in Malibu by next year and someone says, actually, you know what, in 5 years, we're going to have a doghouse in Modesto. How do things go so off the rails?
The business plan that was put out in 2008 was very theoretical. This is what we think is going to happen. And it became very clear that they didn't have the specifics worked out.
They don't have a clue. And that's why I compare, I'm about to sneeze again. That's why I compare, my only sense of organization is an outline. That's the only thing I'm organized about. When I start to write something, I write out an outline. My introductory paragraph, where I'm going to introduce what I'm going to talk about. My 3 body paragraphs, where I'm going to prove my point. Point 1 is going to be in paragraph 2. Point 2 is going to be in paragraph 3. And my final point is going to be in paragraph 4. And then my concluding paragraph will be a summation of the entire point that I'm trying to make. That's how you have to plot out something. I don't see that in high-speed rail. I don't see that in this conflict. If you all are so adamant that Donald Trump knows what he's doing and that this thing is going well, then why can't anybody call the show and walk me through the plan? Because apparently you're listening to something I haven't heard. I listen to all the press briefings. I listen to all of his speeches, and I've heard several different accounts on several different issues. When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, he said that the Europeans should go get their oil. Then he said this morning that we would be putting up a toll, that we would be controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Then last week he said he was just going to walk away. That it was very likely that we would walk away. And when we walk away, what did he say? What did he say? He said, when we walk away, the Strait of Hormuz will just open right up. And you really think there's a plan? Don't you understand what I'm saying? Don't you see what I'm getting at? How the plan changes from day to day. How can you say there's a plan and the man said, doesn't matter, it'll all open up when we leave. Now he's saying, I've got a 5 o'clock deadline. And at this time tomorrow, there'll be no bombs flying. There'll be no broken deadline. This is all just Trump trying to make the art of the deal. There is no deal when you're dealing with a deadly terrorist regime that wants to see you dead. You and all the other 250 million people in the United States. He wants them dead. How do you negotiate with those people? How do you negotiate with people that don't give a damn about their own people? And yet the president just this morning said negotiations are going very well, because that's what he's got to say tomorrow. He can't say that negotiations went badly tomorrow. There's only one answer, is that it's going well. Because if it's going badly, then the bombs have to start dropping tomorrow. The bridges have to start being blown up. The power lines have to go down. The desalination plant needs to be exploded. And that's a war crime. And whether you think it is or not, it is. I don't care what you think. It is. Trust me on this one. And this could get impeached. Could get him impeached. And when I say impeached, I don't mean just the trial. This could get him removed. Because if impeachment comes up, and it's based on how this war is waged, and he breaks international law, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that vote. Particularly for those that are running in June or in November. They would almost be obliged to vote for his removal. I'm way ahead of my skis, don't get me wrong. They could still turn this thing around. They could have dumb luck the way we had this weekend. Just pure, stupid, dumb luck that we found this guy on a mountaintop somewhere in Iran. Just pure, dumb luck. And the ingenuity of our military and the fortitude of the colonel, who was injured badly and still climbed to the top of this mountain. Apparently, they're saying it was 7,000 feet that this guy climbed. That's what they're going with. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. But let's be blunt. It was dumb, stupid luck that we got that guy. It was like finding a needle in a stack full of needles. Just saying. Want to thank Kathy Abernathy for joining us and all of you. Tomorrow's a Tuesday, our last week with Teresa Golder before she goes on her Asian tour. She'll be gone for about 3 weeks from us. We're going to miss her badly, but she'll be with us tomorrow. And we'll see about this 5 o'clock deadline that the president has set, 8 o'clock Eastern. So it'll be happening during our broadcast. And before you go to bed tonight, say a prayer for our astronauts who are speeding their way back to Earth as we speak. They set the record. They got about 250,000 miles outside of Earth. They've slingshot around the moon, and they are headed for San Diego. That's my understanding. They're going to splash down here in the Pacific Ocean. which is the largest of our 7 oceans. Just saying. The Antarctic desert is the largest desert. I just think it was Sahara, but technically it's Antarctica. That's going to do it for us. Dodgers, Blue Jays, don't tell me where it is. I've got it on DVR tonight. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And UConn, Michigan. I did not mush Mr. Burdick. I did not place my bet. Although I like UConn plus 6.5. I really, really do. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM.
You ready? I'm going to do the ad. 3, 2, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Singh Subaru. So winter is gone. The weather is finally starting to get warmer. And you know what that means. Time to head over to Singh Subaru. And of course, wouldn't it be nice to drive off in a brand new Subaru? Just imagine the sunroof is open, your hair dangling in the wind. You feel the warmth of the sun. And if you're talking sporty and comfortable, then the choice is clearly the Outback. And did I mention affordability? You can lease a 2026 Outback Premium CVT for only $239 a month for 36 months and just $4,700 down due at signing. Plus, every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive, and the offer ends April 30th. So stop by and see Damon Colberts and Hassan Levy and test drive a brand new Outback. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community at 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall. Boom! Boom, 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 boom. One take Bailey. Boom. Chris doesn't even care. Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Boom. Boom. Oh, shit, I got to do the promo.
Don't throw that away. I need the disclaimer.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Three, two. So Artemis 2 is speeding back to Earth. They're headed to San Diego. They're going to splash down in the Pacific Ocean. But I truly believe this is the beginning of something much bigger than we realize. Once we set up that base on the moon, it's off to Mars. And then from there, Star Trek 2028. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Tuesday TRBS. We bid adieu to Judge Teresa Goldner. We get her one final Tuesday, and then she's off to Southern Asia for 3 weeks. And we'll have the latest on Artemis 2 and the latest on Epic Fury. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. I got to stop saying the AM.
And now again, they are helping me. As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
4 people in the hospital and 4 people under arrest. I'm Chris Davis. That's in the shooting incident that happened Sunday on Half Dome Way in South Bakersfield. Bakersfield PD says that all started with an ongoing conflict between several people who live in the area, which is near White Lane and Hughes Road. And about 10 minutes before 5 Sunday is when the people inside a house ended up shot and